Yokoke, thank you, members of the Permanent Forum, delegates, and our Indigenous relatives. Chokma, my name is Carrie Johnson, and I'm a 23-year-old citizen of the Chickasaw Nation, a descendant of the Pawnee Nation, a graduate student at New York University on a full-ride scholarship from the Indigenous Journalists Association, and a student member. I'm here to talk about tribal press freedom and the importance of funding Indigenous media. The recent UNESCO report, Indigenous Peoples and the Media, highlights the critical need for more legal and financial support for Indigenous media. The Chickasaw Times is the official newspaper of the Chickasaw Nation and in the Chickasaw Code. This newspaper tells our stories through our eyes, as storytelling is and always has been instrumental for the sovereignty of Indigenous peoples. However, many tribal media outlets do not have full freedom to publish stories they believe in and must get approval from tribal governments who want to display a tribe of power, wealth, and accomplishment. This controlling of narratives is a protective reaction to how Indigenous people's stories are told by mainstream media, where harmful stereotypes have become normal. As a young person, both in the journalism industry and working for my tribe, I see how coverage of relevant issues is not published or talked about, and how this leaves our communities divided. Specific concerning examples I've seen are cases of missing and murdered Indigenous peoples not reported on, environmental issues kept under radar, intimidation from government entities, and confusion among citizens about funding on massive projects. Article 16 of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples states that Indigenous peoples have the right to establish their own media in their own languages and to have access to all forms of non-Indigenous media without discrimination. We call upon the members of UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues to encourage states to both legally recognize the rights of Indigenous media and fully fund Indigenous media, to encourage states and all media outlets to develop relationships with our sovereign nations in order to learn and respect our culture and customs when it comes to reporting in the nations. And finally, to encourage tribal governments to lawfully commit to freedom of press, as tribal outlets are the main source of information for citizens. While tribal media outlets have the experience and depth of understanding to provide nuanced coverage, they may not have the freedom or resources to fully report on issues that concern their communities. We make these calls to the members to support Indigenous people's right to free press and self-determination through our journalism. Yokoke, thank you.